Hello and thanks for joining us on the evening news from the studio of ABS. My name is Ifunanya Amafili. And our headlines trending this evening: Governor Obiano calls against acts that would threaten the corporate existence of Nigeria. State government establishes centers for distribution of relief materials to persons affected by flood. Organized labor suspends nationwide strike with effect from today. And on the foreign scene, Macedonia votes in a referendum to change name to Republic of North Macedonia. And we'll start with the news and details. Governor Willie Obiano has charged the citizens to work against violence and all threats to the corporate existence of Nigeria. Governor Obiano made the call at Cathedral Church of St. Faith, Oka, at a service held to mark the 58th independence anniversary celebration of the country. Our correspondent, Chukwuemeka Modelim, was there and brings us the report now.
Obiano, while felicitating with Nigerians on the nation's 58th independence anniversary celebration, called on the citizens to pray for God's intervention in the 2019 general elections, which he said is a watershed that will determine the fate of the country. The governor expressed happiness that in the last 1 month, his administration launched the Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme aimed at giving the people an affordable and quality health care, as health is one of the key enablers of his administration. The governor announced that his administration, in conjunction with the federal government, have offered a lot of financial and material assistance to over 50,000 flood victims in holding centers in the state. He urged good-spirited individuals to complement state government efforts in this regard by giving their own to help the flood victims.
If you belong to the Agrarian Society, you will see that they plan their healthcare system properly. And that is what we have brought to Anambra State now. With 1,000 naira, if you are a civil servant, every month you pay 1,000 naira, every month 1,000 naira. This insurance scheme will cover you and 4 of your siblings. Cover you and 4 of your siblings, no matter if I boy. We must pray for unity. I Anambra, I Chapo, I am walking. Put the white full of walk people under God. This is not the period to divide. This is the period to do what? To divide and fight our common enemy. Wherever you wake up, let's say, God bless Anambra State first, then God bless Nigeria.
In a sermon, the Bishop of Oka Diocese, Anglican Communion, Right Reverend Alexander Ibezim, regretted that at 58, Nigerians are still living in sorrow occasioned by bad leadership in a land blessed with mineral resources. He, however, commended the President's administration under the leadership of Governor Obiano for spreading dividends of democracy to all parts of the state.
That in a time like this, we must know that as a man of thanksgiving to God, there is need to seriously uphold our country before the Almighty God. Very serious prayer. Not a political prayer, because there are prayers that are political. People that pray political prayers, it doesn't get results. When they want to pray, they want to make recognition, to budget big amount of money. The prophets that pray for the liberation of their countries, they do it silently. Even by the time they come out to talk, they know that it is a prophetic voice. But today, prophetic voice is lacking in our country.
The service also featured prayers for Anambra State, Nigeria, Governor Obiano, and members of the State Executive Council. Members of the State Executive Council were present at the service, including the State Chief Judge, Justice Peter Umade, and the heads of paramilitary establishments in the state. From St. Faith's Cathedral, Oka, Chukwuemeka Modelem, ABS News.
As Nigeria marks the 58th independence anniversary of the country from colonial rule tomorrow, some business leaders in the state have expressed hope in a better future for the country, especially as it concerns the country's economy. ABS correspondent Kenneth Chukwudili spoke to one-time president of Aba Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Abachima, Chief Anthony Enukeme, and another industrialist, Chief Godwin Okafor, who assessed the country's progress so far, and will bring you his report now.
Enukeme, who recounted how the colonial masters introduced marketing boards for cash crops and farm produce to fix price, discourage competition, and rip off the people, thereby hindering the development in lots of Nigerian communities and towns, and appreciated the nation's founding fathers for their efforts in gaining independence for the country. Chief Enukeme called on the youth to be productive and seek ways to benefit themselves and their community by being gainfully employed and not always seeking for non-existing white-collar jobs.
My advice to Nigeria is that people should work hard and try as much as possible to be honest, because honesty is the best policy. We should think about being honest in what our relationship with our fellow human beings. If you are given something to give, be it for your club, for your youth, for your association, for whatever, be honest. We'll have a limited number of days to stay here on earth. You go and render the statement of your still worship. If you are found wanted, you go to hell.
For Chief Godwin Okafor, Nigeria has not done badly as a nation in its 58 years journey, but given the human and natural resources abound in the country, more could have been achieved to better the lots of the people. Chief Okafor was of the opinion that the country's economy is not performing as expected, which has left many Nigerians unsatisfied. He emphasized that Nigeria needs good leadership, which will harness the nation's resources for the benefit of all, which can only be possible if true federalism is entrenched, as youths must take up leadership positions for enhanced growth and development of the nation.
In the 60s, our forefathers did very, very well, because there was a kind of actual federalism. But now, since the coming of military, those initial plans that our forefathers had was eluded. We used to come up to match the age we are now. We are in a statutory age. Therefore, you need people who have a brain who can move the country forward.
Nigeria is marking her 58th independence anniversary at a time the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele is raising concerns that the country may again relapse into another recession less than 1 year it pulled out from a similar experience. In Oka, it's been Kenneth Chukwudili for ABS News.
The state government has opened centers where relief materials can be sent to alleviate the sufferings of people greatly affected by flood disasters in 5 local government areas of the state. The centers are Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, along Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, Oka, and at the headquarters of Ogbaru, Anyammelum, Oka North, Anambra East, Anambra West, Onitsha North, Onitsha South, and Ihiala local government area. The disaster, which is more devastating in Ogbaru, Anambra East and West, as well as Anyammelu local government areas, has sacked over 10,000 people from their homes, schools, offices, farms, markets, and places of worship. According to the statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adinuba, the affected persons are desperately in need of foodstuff, drinking water, cooking utensils, mattresses, mats, beds, buckets, clothes, healthcare, and sanitary facilities. Mr. Adinuba noted that all types of relief materials can be sent to any of the mentioned council headquarters, except medicines, which, according to him, have to be left with the State Ministry of Health to ensure professional handling and administration. He advised those who want to give money to the affected persons to send it to Anambra State Flood Disaster Account with account number 503-009-1612 in Fidelity Bank. And still on humanitarian news, a UK-based All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA member, Mrs. Ifediba Mazeli from Onitsha, has donated relief materials worth thousands of naira to Anambra West people affected by flood at Crowder Primary School, Onitsha. Items presented to them were cartons of gala, children's shoes, underwears, bags of sachet waters, hangers, and pap for the little children. Mrs. Mazali, while addressing the displaced persons at the holding center, said she was moved by the sufferings they endured in her hometown, Onitsha. She, however, commended Governor Willie Obiano for his efforts at providing necessary materials. Mrs. Mazali, who is a nursing psychologist and one of the first individual donors at the holding center, urged them to judiciously use the relief materials. The church is a great instrument in restoring sanity, morals, and peace in the society. The Vicar of Christ Redemption Church, Ezioka, Venerable Dr. Nnamdi Enemdu, made this assertion in a sermon to mark today's service, and we have details for you.
Said that those who trust solely in God and keep his will can never lack his blessings and protection, since in God there is liberty and no condemnation. Venerable Dr. Emendu regretted that some Christians draw nearer to God only when in difficulties, and stated that every true child of God will trust and follow Christ at all times, promote peace, and live life filled with God's directive so as to maintain a serene society. At the Divine Mercy Catholic Chaplaincy, Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Amaku Oka, a visiting priest, Reverend Father Cyprian Ezakunne, advocated for charity amongst Christians, noting that those who render acts of charity to the followers of God must be rewarded. Reverend Father Ezakunne further admonished for tolerance of other people's religion.
A lot of people look up to you to emulate your habit, to emulate the way you talk, from the way you dress.
Also at St. Philip's Anglican Church, Umodu, Opuno, the vicar, Reverend Canon Rufus Ezokolonkwo, said that Christ is the master protector of all, without whom life would be meaningless.
We have more news for you on the national scene once we come back for our break. Do stay with us.
This is Anambra.
The government of Anambra State invites you to the unveiling of Anambra Compendium on Monday, the 1st of October 2018 at Oma Event Center, opposite Alex Ekweme Square, Awka, Anambra State, by 12 noon. Chief host, His Excellency Chief Willie Obiano, Governor, Anambra State. Chairman, His Royal Majesty, Igwe Alfred Nnaemeka Achebe Agbogidi, Obi of Onitsha. Chief Unveiler, Mr. Nnamdi Okonkwo, Managing Director of Fidelity Bank PLC. Come, let's celebrate our heritage.
The organized labor has suspended the ongoing strike with effect from today, Sunday. National President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Ayuba Wuba, announced this while briefing journalists at the Labour House in Abuja. WABA said that the organized labor has gotten firm commitment from the government that the tripartite committee of the Minimum Wage Committee reconvenes on October 4th. It's a story of love, trust, family ties, and a brighter future at Ubaru Village, Igbariam, Anambra East local government area, where Mr. Chibuike Anyefuna took his heartthrob, Mrs. Onyinye Atunya, as bride in a traditional marriage celebrated at the bride's house. The groom, who is the son of Mr. Vincent Anyefuna, a staff of the Anambra Broadcasting Services, also brought the ABS family together to wine, dine, and celebrate with their own. Our correspondent, Chinaza Ezenwa, tells us how the ceremony took place.
Scene, which was resplendent of beauty and charm of traditional Igbo culture, saw both families engage in the usual banter such events were known for. Families, friends, and well-wishers were also in the happy mood as they see their childhood friends of yesterday become adults of today and are getting married. The father of the groom, Mr. Anyefuna, called on the young couple to embrace love, patience, endurance, humility, and understanding as the hallmark of building a happy marriage, while urging them to pray at all times. For the parents of the bride, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Atwanya, in their remarks, thanked God for keeping them alive to witness the marriage of their daughter and advised the couple to always settle their differences amicably without a third party, while reminding them that marriage is not a bed of roses. On their parts, the head of administration, Comrade Sina Ekenta, and her counterpart in the Department of Engineering, Mr. Paul Okoye, both of the ABS, prayed God for divine guidance, success, and prosperity in their marriage. The couple, Mr. and Mrs. Chibuike Anyefuna, who described each other as irreplaceable and made for one another, pledged allegiance to God and prayed for their love to wax stronger as they grow old together.
That was a beautiful bride, and we wish the couple well. On the entertainment scene, popular American rapper Kanye West is changing his name to Ye. Announcing the change on Twitter on Saturday, he wrote that the being formerly known as Kanye West is Ye. West, who is age 41, has been nicknamed Ye for some time and used the moniker as the title of his 8th album, which was released in June. The change came ahead of his appearance on Saturday Night Live, where he was expected to launch his new album, Yandi. He replaced singer Ariana Grande on the show, who cancelled for emotional reasons. We'll take news from the foreign scene, where Macedonia held a referendum today to decide on whether to change its name to the Republic of North Macedonia, a move that will resolve a decade-old name dispute with Greece, which had blocked its membership bid for the European Union and NATO. Greece, which has a province called Macedonia, maintains that its northern neighbor's name represents a claim on its territory and has vetoed its entrance into NATO and the EU. Athens and Skopje struck a deal in June based on the proposed new name, but nationalist opponents argued the change will undermine the ethnic identity of the country's Slavic majority population. President Jov Ivanov has said he would not be voting in the referendum, and a boycott campaign has cast doubts on whether the turnout will meet the minimum 50% required for the referendum to be valid. Prime Minister Zaev says NATO's membership will bring much-needed investment to Macedonia, which has an unemployment rate of more than 20%. On the sports scene, African nations will support Gianni Infantino to re-election as FIFA's president. The head of the Continental Football Federation, Ahmed, has said. Ahmed announced the move at a special meeting of the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee, which Infantino attended in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Infantino, a former deputy head of UEFA, was first elected in 2016 to succeed Sepp Blatter when the scandal that engulfed the governing body of world football was at its heights. The next presidential election will be held in Paris in June 2019, and Infantino says he will stand. Infantino expressed his gratitude for the African backing. Remember that you can follow our news and program on ABS from any part of the world simply by logging on to our website, which is www.absradiotv.com, or like us on our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, or you can like us on our Twitter and Instagram handle at ABS Radio TV. And before we end the news, we'll go through the main highlights once more. Governor Obiano has called against acts that would threaten the corporate existence of Nigeria. The state government has established centers for distribution of relief materials to persons affected by flood. Organized labor has suspended nationwide strike with effects from today. And on the foreign scene, Macedonia has voted in a referendum to change its name to Republic of North Macedonia. And it's a wrap on the evening news. Many thanks for being with us. My name is Ifunanya Amafili. Do have a pleasant evening.